So let's talk about flying with anxiety. So this video here that I recently uploaded on TikTok kind of blew up and got like 1 million views and loads of comments and stuff. So I thought I'd watch the full version with you, or the full section of that video, and just kind of explain, my thoughts and what is actually going on in that moment, and maybe clear up some questions people had. So I'm going to watch it here on my laptop and let's have a look. Some plane noise, don't know what that was. Yeah, but every bit of me is thinking like, did I agree to do this? Why? I could just stay at home. So this point is when we're actually on the plane and I'm kind of filming myself, processing my thoughts, talking about what I'm feeling in that moment, trying to kind of intellectualize what's going on. So at this point, I'm really apprehensive and I'm kind of regretting being on the plane, and I'm kind of being like thinking, why would I do this to myself when I'm terrified of flying and I have agoraphobia and I get panic attacks? Why would I actually put myself in that situation? But that is kind of the point of the video and the point of the trip as well, to put myself in that situation, because I don't want to continue just avoiding things and staying anxious. I want to actually do things, and keep going. But I got a little brother and I don't want him to grow up like me and be scared of everything. To show him that. So that's an interesting point, is that is a big thing that motivates me. I have like an 11-year-old brother, and he obviously is going to see things that I do, and I don't want him to live that life where he's afraid of everything, or he's too anxious to do things or to enjoy things because he sees his older brother is scared of everything. So I'm trying to be like a role model in the sense that, I need to do this, not just for me, but for also my family and people around me who might look up to me, and also people who watch my videos as well. That's a huge reason why I'm actually filming this in the first place. I had loads of people in my comments saying things like, oh, surely if you're so anxious, then you wouldn't be able to film this. Why would you be thinking about filming? Like, I'm so anxious, let me get out my camera. The point of my videos, if you've seen my page or if you follow me for a while, you know that this is kind of the whole point. I do these things to face the anxiety. Anxiety is not something that you're supposed to avoid and push away. And yes, I get the point that, if I was having a full-blown panic attack, it would be quite hard to film. And I actually have yet to actually film a full-blown panic attack myself, because that is just really, really hard to do. I have another video where I went on the tube, the London Underground, and I got quite close to filming it, but just as I was getting to like a full-blown panic attack, I stopped filming and I kind of like called someone. So I get that point, but the point of doing this, this is something that really, really helps me. And filming as well is kind of a coping mechanism for me, because it allows me to kind of separate myself from the situation and see it from outside. Okay, I have a goal here. I'm filming this video of me doing something I don't like, and I have a purpose of why I'm doing this, because it's going to help me. It's going to be something for me to look back on. It's going to be something for other people to watch and realize that, hey, I can do that situation too. You can have anxiety and you can feel like everything is wrong and feel really terrified, but still continue doing it and then be okay. So the point is, you can do this despite feeling scared and terrified, and that's exactly what I'm trying to prove. It's okay to get out there and do stuff.
We've got some bad news for our flight. We're just trying to do a reset on one of our systems.
No. Okay, so at this point, we're getting some news from the pilot because we'd been delayed. And when you're already scared of flying, fine, you're scared of flying. When you already have anxiety, okay, when you have agoraphobia and like you're literally doing something that you think is one of the hardest things you can do, then to hear that the plane has technical difficulties is just, that was a really, really terrible moment for me. And I kind of, it felt like this was a sign. Like, this was a sign that I shouldn't do this. I need to get off. Something's going to happen. Something's wrong with the plane. Even if they fix it in mid-flight, it's going to break again and it's going to be a huge disaster. Everything was screaming, get off.
not really safety related, but if we can get it reset, it means that we can't have any cargo in our holds. So in that case, I've been speaking with.
You'll notice there he said it's not really safety related. In my head, not really means that, oh, it's a little bit safety related, but not really. And to be honest, anything relating to a technical fault in a plane to me is, in my head is like, okay, well, that's obviously safety related. I need the plane to be 100% functional. But then I guess in this moment, what I would say now is I don't personally have to be a plane expert. They're not going to fly the plane if there's something wrong. So if they fix it and they feel that it's okay to fly, then that means it's okay. Like, no one wants a disaster. The pilots don't want a disaster. So at that moment, I was kind of like, I need to know what the heck is going on. But now I think I would be more comfortable after doing this with just sitting back and saying, okay, let them take their time. They're fixing it. It's going to be fine. If the plane is not ready to fly, then we won't fly. So I don't need to obsess over what is wrong. I need to know exactly what's wrong with it.
Our ground staff and the options are either to change aircraft if we can get it reset, or proceed to Attendant without anything in the cargo, in which case...
Yeah, so you can really see the stress in my eyes at this point, and like I'm almost tearing up. Yeah, it was not a good feeling. But I had already in my head said, no matter what, I'm not getting off and I'm just going to go. And because I've gotten to this point where I'm sick of being scared. And yeah, I'm not saying it's easy, but yeah, it's also hard. I mean, in a way, it's hard to watch because it's these are not nice feelings, and I'm sure if you deal with this, you can relate to that. It doesn't feel nice, but it's like a necessary thing you have to go through to get to show yourself that you can go through an experience like that.
I have to go at a later time. We're trying our best to get this resolved so that none of those options have to occur.
It's funny how the pilot's just like, yeah, we might have to go at a later time, and then I'm just here like crying, thinking like, oh, this means we're gonna die.
How do you expect me to ignore that?
Yeah, so that's not my proudest moment either. So, yeah, that's me snapping at my girlfriend, who was trying to comfort me. But at that moment, I was just so frustrated, and to be honest, actually also angry, in a sense of like, why did I agree to do this? And almost trying to find blame on people and be like, I don't want to go. I didn't want to go, and yeah, that's I'm not very proud of this.
Sorry, sir. Am I allowed to ask a question about it? Because I'm very scared of flying, and I have panic attacks.
Okay, so this part I think is quite interesting. So we were delayed for, I think in total it was around 4 hours. I don't know how far along this part was, but I decided that I might as well go and ask the flight attendant for a bit more information about what actually was going on. And I think this is quite good because it shows how, the flight attendants are actually there to help. Like, that is part of their job. They're there to make you feel safe, to be safe, and to help you with the flight, basically. So I went up to the front of the plane, and I just asked the flight attendant, can I have some more information about what's going on? And I told him that I have panic attacks, I have anxiety, I'm afraid of flying. I just wanted to make that clear, and I think that's really kind of something that you should do if you are worried about flying or you have anxiety. Just be open when you get on the plane. Tell them, hey, I'm very nervous about flying. I'm scared of flying, because they actually see this every day and they know how to kind of help and make people feel comfortable who might be extra afraid of flying. It's not something that you have to hide and be embarrassed about or be worried about what people might think. It takes a lot of pressure off. So once I went there and spoke to him, you can just see it by the way he reacts and by how kind and helpful he is. That actually puts me at ease as well. So I definitely would recommend going, and if you're very nervous of flying, or even if you're nervous about having panic attacks on the plane, then I'd recommend doing that. One point as well is I had a lot of comments from people saying about the facts of flying. So for example, it's 10 times more likely, it's like thousands of millions times more likely that you're going to die on the way to the airport than on the actual flight itself. So with people with anxiety, or people who might have particularly anxiety about flying, or even in my case, agoraphobia and panic disorder, we already know this stuff because we've Googled and researched everything we can about flying. And, yes, we've seen disasters, we've seen videos about disasters and watched the documentaries, but we also have watched a lot of these videos saying about how flying works, how safe it is. It's not that we, think that it's more dangerous. It's when you have, kind of this irrational fears, that it's 0.00005% likely that something's going to happen. But in your mind, that is still a chance. And you over focus on that tiny percentage, and your body reacts as if it's preparing for that percentage to happen, right? So consciously, logically that it's really unlikely, but your body is getting itself ready for it could happen. And just that tiny could is enough. So telling us, it's more dangerous you're more at risk driving to the airport, isn't going to help us with the flying, but it might make us more worried about the drive to the airport as well. I know that people are trying to help, but I just had lots of comments like that it's kind of misunderstanding what this anxiety is. It's not that we believe that airplanes are so dangerous. It's that we are just preparing for every possibility, right? And another interesting thing about that I was thinking about was, in my case, it's not even about crashing. It's not about the plane falling out the sky. That obviously wasn't helped by the technical difficulties, and that made me more scared. But my real issues are because I have panic disorder and I have agoraphobia and things like that. I'm actually worried about, what if I have a panic attack on the plane mid-flight? What if I panic so much that, I have a heart problem? What if I can't breathe on the flight? This kind of stuff. It's not necessarily, I think the plane itself is dangerous. It's being on a plane where it's hard to escape. And I think that's probably the bigger fear for most people, because we know that flying is safe, but we're worried about, what if we can't handle it on the flight? Or what if there's a medical emergency on the flight and we're in the middle of, nowhere? We like to be close to hospitals. We like to be close to places where we can escape. And that's part of this journey, is learning to not depend on those kind of things and realize that you can be in situations outside of your comfort zone without needing to be near a hospital or near someone who can help at all times.
So literally there is nothing wrong with the plane.
Yeah. Okay guys, so we're still here. Everyone's kind of just like standing up. I've been really stressed, but
this was so long because we were delayed for 4 hours, and the flight was supposed to be about 4 hours. So that was annoying.
I just ended up listening to like a meditation and just trying to relax like all my muscles as much as I can.
Okay, so here we're about to take off, and it was quite awkward to film because I just kind of had my phone in front of me in my hands, and I was quite embarrassed filming, but I did it. So let's have a look. So here, I'm probably doing something that I shouldn't do. So I'm like trying to control my breathing too much and trying to slow down. I think I'm putting too much emphasis on trying to stay calm rather than just letting the sensations happen, like letting my heart race. I think what I'm really trying to do here is control my breathing to slow my heart to try and calm down. But I think all of this behavior I'm doing here is not really, it doesn't help. It's probably making me focus more on the sensations. This is my classic thing when I'm getting anxious. When I start feeling panicky or anxious, I immediately do this for some reason. I don't know why. But if you know me, you can immediately tell when something's wrong, because I'll start getting more like this and then I'll touch my head. So here we're taking off, we're going up. And as we're going up, I'm like in really hypervigilant mode, looking in every direction, listening to every noise. I feel like a rabbit, like every single slight feeling is triggering some kind of reaction. Okay, so that was a moment after taking off. We're still going up, and then the engine kind of, you hear the noise goes down a little bit and it feels like there's a slight drop. And I've learned from loads of helpful people in the comments that this is when the pilots, so when they take off, they're basically on near or full power. And as they're still climbing, they then reduce it. So it's not like the takeoff power, it's kind of reduced. And so this makes the engines sound a bit quieter, and then also make just that little drop as it goes down. But there's still enough power to keep going. Whenever this happens, it feels like, oh my God, the plane's going down. And even though I know what's happening, it still seems to get me. Now here you can see in my face just me doing this nodding and closing my eyes. So what's happening here is it's some kind of subconscious thing I do where I'm basically like tracking my heart rate. And I think from when I used to have daily panic attacks, I used to be so hyper aware of my heart that I knew exactly what speed it was all the time. And I still do this when I'm anxious. I kind of click my jaw and nod my head in the time with my heart rate as I guess it's like a self-monitoring thing. And that's another thing that I have to try and stop doing when I can notice that I'm doing it. The same there with my jaw. So you can see like I'm quite stressed. And then there, as we're in the air now, I'm starting to kind of, relax. Okay, so we are fine. And so as you can see here, the flight was like 4 hours, and I'm already in this next clip talking about landing. After that takeoff, for the next few hours, like there was a sense of relief. After the plane took off, the worst was over. And actually the feeling of kind of there's nothing I can do, even if something happened, was actually strangely calming and made me just, what else can I do except relax? When I'm still on the ground, I still feel like there's a chance for me to jump out of my seat, shout at the flight attendants and say, get me off the plane. I need to get out if I were to panic and get really terrified. But once we're in the air, there's absolutely nothing I can do and there's no way to get out. So I think the body kind of just says, I'm in this situation and I have to deal with it. So when we're anxious, we're stopping ourselves from dealing with the situations or from allowing ourselves to deal with the situations. And to me, I think it's when we have choice or when we have a chance to avoid something or to escape, then that's actually when the anxiety is the highest. I think in a real, for example, this is an example. If there was a real fire in your house, you wouldn't have a panic attack. You would just run and do whatever you need to do to get out, put it out, or whatever. And then afterwards, you'd be like, "Oh, my heart's racing," all this and that, and you'd be like, "Wow, but you would be like, the danger's gone. You're not panicking. You just do it." And when you're panicking, there's always this doubt. It's like there's no real thing to latch onto, so you latch onto the feelings that are happening within you. Oh, my heart's racing. What does that mean? I'm having a heart attack. Because there's no thing actually happening, right? If you were having a heart attack, you'd probably collapse. You wouldn't really have time to panic. Or someone else would notice you. But when you have time to doubt about it, when you have time to actually panic, then it is probably just a panic attack. So you see how once those doors are closed, I basically just accept the situation. And that acceptance is a big part of getting through these panic attacks, whether you're in a plane or whether you're in a concert or anywhere else. I think it's really not giving yourself the option to give up. And when you cut off that option, so in that point, it was on the plane, that option was cut off for me and I relaxed, but I can cut off that option anywhere. So now when I go and do something and I'm very anxious or I'm worried about having a panic attack, I'm going to cut off that option. I'm going to say, escaping this is not an option, and I'm going to go through with it. No matter what, no matter how dangerous I think it is, no matter how scared I think it's going to be, because I know I have anxiety and I'm distorting the reality of the situation. And even if something happened, I will be able to manage it in the moment. So if I don't give myself that option, then I have to adapt and I have to accept how I'm feeling. And that is one of the main things that I think has been helping, and I think will help people out there as well. So that's that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long. If you like this video, please like it, please subscribe, please hit the bell, all of that stuff, because I would love to do more of these videos, and I just need to know that you like them. I can also try reacting to some other people's anxiety videos, maybe some TikToks, stuff like that. So if you like these videos where I talk through kind of what's going on, then please let me know in the comments, because that helps me a lot to know that people actually find it useful. So please subscribe, like the video, share it as well, and I'll see you in the next one, and take care.